What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Anfernee, and in this video I want to talk about how exactly you can go about understanding your industry if you are a small business owner or if you are pursuing entrepreneurship. And the reason why you want to make a focus on understanding your industry is because you have to know if there's any money or if there's any demand for the product or service that you're trying to sell in your small business. So in this video I'm going to go over how to assess the advantages of any industry as a small business owner, how to assess the disadvantages, and how to wrap that all up into one comprehensive package in order to have a full understanding of your industry and then incorporate that into your business model. So if you think you'll go on to find any kind of value in this video, then hit that like button for your boy. And also if you want some free money, then head down to the description where if you sign up to the public app, you'll get one free stock just for signing up and opening an account. So as you're trying to understand your industry, you may ask yourself, what is an industry in the first place? Is it just a group of companies that sell the same product? Is it just a group of companies that are in the same service space, such as brick and mortar or retail? Or is it just comparable companies that are about the same size and have similar revenue streams? Well, technically the answer to this question is all of the above. An industry can be as broad or as specific as you would like it to be, and there are many different variables that can go into particular industries. So if you're just getting started creating your business and you want to make a plan and understand what industry that you're going to be in, the best thing that you can do is start off as broad or as wide as possible and then take incremental steps in order to narrow that down to be more specific at the very end. So for example, if you wanted to start a business reselling things on Facebook Marketplace, the broadest category that I can think of in this space will be that you're going to be an e-commerce business. And with this in mind, you want to go out and see what other e-commerce businesses are doing. Whether they're on Facebook or Amazon or eBay, how are some of the other e-commerce businesses doing? What's their revenue like? How fast are they growing? And ask yourself if you can either replicate or outperform their performance in order to be even better than them in the future. And after this, you can move down a level and be even more specific and then analyze e-commerce businesses that are on Facebook. And once you do that, you can analyze e-commerce businesses that are on Facebook that are selling the particular product that you want to resell. And by going from most broad to most specific, you'll have a great understanding of what the overall industry is for your business and also what the demand is for your particular product in the business that you're trying to start. And after starting broad and working your way down, one of the most used methods in order to understand any industry in any business space is going to be called a common framework. And with the common framework, you're going to be assessing all of the outside factors that may affect your business, as well as any countermeasures that you can take to get around those outside factors. So later in this video, I'm going to go over in depth of some of the environmental factors that may affect your business, as well as many of the common factors that may affect you, so that you can then create a game plan on how to counteract those. And the first part of this common framework is going to be the environmental factors that will be affecting your business. Now, environmental factors are typically factors that are outside your control, and there's basically three main categories that these factors fall into. And the first of those factors refers to the carrying capacity of your industry. And this basically is the total amount of businesses that your industry can hold before it begins to get oversaturated and there's not enough demand for new businesses to enter. Now, we hear the term oversaturation thrown out a lot, especially here on YouTube, because when something makes money, there's a lot of people that may want to replicate that money making process. And honestly, with the digital age, I don't believe that carrying capacity is all that important in my personal opinion. This is because even though you have the same product as another person or same service as another person in the same industry, if your brand markets it differently, or if you are just a more unique personality, then you should be able to carve yourself into the customer base and start to get products. There's a ton of lawnmower companies out there, but I guarantee if you go outside and knock on 10 doors today with a lawnmower, one of those people will agree and let you mow their lawn. All it takes for you is to start to build your brand and your reputation, and then you'll start to get that business in any industry that you want. However, the next environmental factor that may affect your business in your industry is going to be uncertainty. And this refers to the unpredictability or stability of your industry. If you are in a very volatile or very seasonal industry, then your business will likely follow the highs and lows of that particular industry. So if you're trying to sell Christmas products, for example, you probably won't get a lot of business in July, but around November and December, you could expect a peak in your sales. Also with uncertainty, it may be the case where your business may be obsolete or that technology may push out any services that you offer because it is more efficient to do your business model with robotics instead of with humans. So understanding the predictability of your industry and the stability of it will go a long way in understanding your industry. And moving on to the last environmental factor that can affect your industry and therefore your business is going to be the complexity of products or services within that business industry. So if 10 companies are in the same industry and they all sell similar products, then that industry does not have a lot of complexity. But if it was a different industry and 10 companies sold completely different products, but they are still considered the same industry technically, then there would be a lot of complexity in that industry. So whenever you're getting started in your industry with your business, you want to understand the variety and the diversity of the products within that industry so that you know whether or not you need to be unique or whether or not you need to follow the established path of products already being sold within that industry. And moving on, when you're trying to understand your entry, it is also important to know what barriers to entry that there may be in your particular field. So let's go through some of the more common barriers to entry that you may see in most business atmospheres. And one of the most common barriers to entry that you see is called economies of scale. And this basically is when bigger, more established companies can produce goods and services cheaper than you could as a sole proprietor or as a company with not a lot of employees and resources. This is because when companies get so large, they may then be able to order their products in bulk for cheaper, pay laborers overseas a cheaper rate in order to make their product, and they may even get a shipping discount because they ship so many goods. So if economies of scale is a barrier to entry in the industry that you are in, then you want to make sure you make a note of that, because if you are just getting started, it is probably going to be much more expensive for you to get your foot in the door and begin selling your product or service. And then the next barrier to entry that you see a lot is called brand loyalty. Now, brand loyalty is not exclusive to brick and mortar stores. It is not exclusive to big companies like Apple, Amazon, any company that may offer a diverse variety of products, but brand loyalty can apply to something as simple as a YouTube channel, as people tend to buy from and watch people who they relate to more, or people who they just simply enjoy watching. And brand loyalty, if you have a common product, may be a high barrier to entry because you will have to work extra hard to prove yourself, to show the potential customer that your product is even worth considering in the first place. And with brand loyalty, it is not a concrete thing. People tend to have their preference, but if you offer more value for less money or even more entertainment in a shorter period of time, it could be potentially easy for someone to switch their brand loyalty to you if you work hard enough. But moving on to the next barrier to entry that is pretty common, and this one is the capital requirements that you will need in order to get your business up and running. Capital or initial money is going to be needed pretty much with any small business that you want to create. But if you want to create a business by flipping houses, the capital requirements in the very beginning are going to be much higher than they would be if you wanted to start a content creation channel. So you have to make sure that you are diligent with understanding the capital requirements that your business is going to need. And if they are insanely high, you may have to raise some money from outside sources so that once again, you're able to get your foot in the door and actually start making money, or actually start getting this business off the ground. And the last barrier to entry that I'm going to talk about in this video is going to be the cost of switching, or switching costs from customers from another product to your product. So switching costs and brand loyalty tend to go hand in hand, but you have to keep in mind, if it is going to cost an extra amount of money for people to switch to your product from another product, then the likelihood of that happening extremely decreases. Now, this is not the case with most products, because you can typically buy two products at once and not necessarily have a switching cost. But if you offer a service, the service that they're switching from may have a cancellation fee, may have a contract that runs for a predetermined period of time, or it may just cost a fee for them to switch away from their product to your product. So understanding the switching costs of your industry and understanding if that is very low or high for the average overall industry, and try to find ways to reduce that so that customers are more likely to switch over to your product or service. But even with those barriers to entry in place, you still have to take into account the fact that there's always going to be rivalries within your particular industry with any business that you want to start. So you need to know how big your rivals are, how much they will push back towards you as a newcomer in the business, and how you can take a little bit of their market share in order to get your business up and running. As you get bigger and as you build more customers, it will be easier to start taking business from your rivals. But at the very beginning, when you're the new kid on the block, you need to know how hostile your rivals are to people trying to enter into that industry. Many times big companies or big corporations won't mess with the little guy because they don't see them as a threat to their business. However, if the biggest person in the industry only has 20 to 25 customers, they may be extremely reluctant to letting you enter into their business and may take countermeasures against you from getting started and having a chance in the first place. But then after taking into account all of these factors, you then want to decide on the overall entry strategy on how you want to enter into the market that you're deciding to enter. And your entry strategy would have to take note of all the barriers to entry that we mentioned, all of the environmental factors, and all of the countermeasures that you want to take so that your business has the best chance possible to be successful at the very beginning, or that your investors understand that the profitability may not be all that high if you don't take the correct measures in the very beginning. And your entry strategy should have a timeline of when you want to get this thing up and running as well. When do you want to start? How much work do you want to put in? And as I said, how much money will it take for you actually start making a profit? If you do all of these steps, and you will have a complete understanding of your industry, and your small business, whether it's small or not, will have the best chance possible to be successful. But with all that being said, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you found any kind of value in this video, then hit that like button for your boy. And also, if you want to make some free money, head down into the description, where if you sign up to the public app, you will get a free share of a stock value anywhere from $300 to $300 just for signing up. And if you did go on to enjoy this video and you want to see more content like this, then hit that subscribe button as well. And I will see you in the next one, guys.